Good morning, children. Welcome to my class. Today, I'm going to start a new lesson, lesson 3, Taros Reward. So, in this lesson, we're going to see about a young man. He was a woodcutter, and his name was Taro, who loved his parents a lot, and he had a lot of responsibility towards their parent. Okay, so let's see what's given in this lesson. So before you read, this is a story about a thoughtful and loving son. He works hard to fulfill his parents' wishes and get some unexpected help. Okay, so this person is very thoughtful and he cares for his family a lot. Okay, so let's see, how did he get this unexpected help? What do you mean by unexpected? Unexpected means something which comes all of a sudden when you are least thinking about it. Got it, children? Okay, now let's move into the lesson. A young woodcutter named Taro lived with his mother and father on a lonely hillside. All day long, he chopped wood in the forest. Though he worked very hard, he earned very little money. So in this para, they're describing about the woodcutter Taro. Okay, so the word young is not be bold. Why is that? Because it is a adjective used here. It is an adjective used here. Okay, so the adjective used for the noun woodcutter, young. So the young woodcutter, and his name is Taro, and his name was Taro. He lived with his mother and father on a lonely hillside. Now, what do you mean by lonely hillside? You must all know what is a hillside. A hill is a very short mountain, and hillside is below the mountain. To the corner of it, they lived in a lonely house. Okay, why they are calling it lonely? Because they didn't have any neighbors around them. Their hut, their cottage was the only thing which was present over there. Though he worked very hard, he earned very little money. He earned very little money. So here, the word chopped is a verb, and what do you mean by the meaning? Chop? Cut into pieces. Cut into pieces. Okay. So for the other word for cut is chop. You can chop your vegetables. You can chop the wood. This is how you call them. Got it, children? Okay. This made him sad, for he was a thoughtful son and wanted to give his old parents everything they needed. Okay. How much ever he cut the wood, he chopped the wood and he sell it in the city, but he was not able to earn enough. He was not able to earn enough. Okay, so what happened because of that? He was saddened. He became sad because he wanted to earn more money to keep his parents happy. Okay, why? By how can he keep them happy? By giving the parents whatever they needed. Okay, they may not need something very different, children. The basic necessity they need, but Taro was not able to buy them even the basic necessities. That is why Taro felt very sad about it. Okay, now moving on to the second paragraph. One evening, when Taro and his parents were sitting in a corner of their hut, a strong wind began to blow. A strong wind began to blow. It whistled through the cracks of the hut, and everyone felt very cold. It whistled through the cracks of the hut, and everyone felt very cold. Suddenly, Taro's father said, "I wish I had a cup of sake." Suddenly, Taro's father said, "I wish I had a cup of sake. It would have warmed me and do my old heart good." So now they're talking about a particular day in the evening. Okay, Taro and the parents were sitting in a corner of their hut. Suddenly what happened? A strong wind. What do you mean by wind? Sudden rush of air. Okay, that's why we call it as strong wind okay, began to blow. Began to blow is, it started moving around them. Okay, so what happened then? It whistled through the cracks of the hut. Okay, so what do you mean by the whistle of the wind? Okay, how does it sound? This is how it whistles. Okay, it whistled through the cracks of the hut, and everyone felt very cold. Now the parents are old, so the father wanted a cup of sake. A cup of sake, so he felt that the old heart may feel good. So what do you mean by whistled here? Look through the meanings. Whistle through, pass through with a whistling sound. Pass through with a whistling sound. Cracks, narrow gaps, openings. Narrow gaps, opening. Now what is sake? A popular Japanese drink. A popular Japanese drink. Okay, children? Sake. Now third, this made Taro sadder than ever. This made Taro sadder than ever. For the heartwarming drink called sake was very expensive. Was very expensive. How do I earn more money? He asked himself. How do I get a little sake for my poor old father? He decided to work harder than before. He decided to work harder than before. Okay, now what do you mean by expensive? Costly. Now why did he get more sad? Because he was not able to earn more money. Now this cup of sake is going to cost him a fortune. For that, at least he should have some money, right? That is why he is feeling that he is not having enough money, and how am I going to fulfill my father's wish? Okay, so let's see, what does he decide? Next morning, Taro jumped out of the bed earlier than usual and made his way to the forest. He chopped and cut as the sun climbed, and soon he was so warm that he had to take off his jacket. His mouth was dry and his face was wet with sweat. My poor old father, he thought, if only he was as warm as I. Okay, now see children, when you climb the mountain or a hill, okay, due to the drop of the altitude, what happens? You start feeling cold. Okay, the same way when people are living under the hillside, okay, and the surroundings of the hillside, they will also feel the same chillness over there. Got it, children? So these old parents, okay, were feeling very cold over there. But now this fellow was working in the woods chopping, and he didn't have anything to eat or drink, so he was continuously doing this work. So what had happened? He felt very warm. Now he is thinking, if at all my father also can feel the same warmness that I feel right now, maybe I'll be happy. But how can it happen? The father is old, he can't work, right? So he had to get him the cup of sake. Okay,